Welcome back, guys. I appreciate you being here to episode 2198 of this. To be honest, I haven't counted the numbers of episodes that I've done on this show, but if you're enjoying this content, I would recommend you to go over to my channel. I created a playlist with all the episodes in one place, so you can binge them, you can look through them, and we're going to do what we always do in all of these episodes today, which is we're going to look at a bunch of UFO clips that you guys shared with me through our Discord, and if the clips are good enough, then I will analyze them. You can do the same. The link to our Discord is down in the description. You can join the community, share your clips with me, and if they're mysterious and unexplainable enough, then I will talk about them in this show. But let's get into the first clip. This comes from Georgia in the United States from a man called RangerH on Twitter. Let's take a look at his profile pic. That is RangerH, and he is an amateur astronomer and sky watcher, and he says he has dozens of cameras watching the sky 24/7. And in this particular clip that I want to share with you guys, he has captured, one of his cameras has captured a silvery orb flying around the sky. It's great footage, especially because it's very high res, high definition. I think it comes from a camera, that's how he described it, that is somehow mounted on some kind of tower, filming up into the sky. So we're going to look at that, but before we get into it, you can see he's giving us a long write-up about his experience with UFOs and UAP. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, but I want to make a few points to give you guys some context. So he says he really wants to talk to a scientist or anyone high up in government that is trying to figure out what is going on with all these UFOs and UAPs. He says this video is nothing compared to what else he has seen. He has close-up 4K footage of these objects, which I couldn't find. I looked through his account. I didn't see any 4K footage that would be close up of these objects. He also says that people need to wake up. We all need to wake up because this is 100% real and these craft are 1000% not man-made. Let's look at the clip. So the clip doesn't have any sound, so I'll just leave it running, and there you can start to see this orb coming into frame on the top. And you can see it does seem to have some kind of silvery appearance around, but at the bottom of the orb, it's not silvery, right? It seems like the bottom of it is black and open. That's how it looks to me. It almost looks like there's a ring of silver that goes around the object. And now we're getting an even closer shot of it as it comes back into view. And there seems to be almost a light. I don't know if you saw this, right? There's like a small light on the bottom in this black area. Look at this. Did you see this? There is something blinking inside of it. It's a very long clip. I'll link this clip down in the description so you can check it out yourself. And then later on, he actually gives us a bit more footage. As you see here, he's switching, I think, to night mode, capturing what seems to be the same object. And if you look very closely, you can kind of see it flying around there in the distance. And at first, I thought this is a bird, right? And earlier, the footage is pretty clear that it's not a bird. It's some kind of silver object. But what we see here seems to be just a bird. But then it does a few turns that very much look like controlled maneuvers, as if someone is controlling the object, and it seems to be coming closer to the camera. Just now you saw it stop mid-air and then goes the opposite direction, which is not impossible that it's a bird, right? If the bird flies right towards the camera for a second, it will look as if it's stopping and then going another way. So it's not impossible that it's a bird, but I think can pretty much explain what this is. But later on in this night vision footage that you see here, you get another view and a slightly better angle of it. And you see it right here. It's coming in from the right-hand side of the camera, and it's clearly the same object. It has the same size. And if you look very, very closely in this particular footage, the night vision footage, you can see even better. And there seems to be some kind of light blinking inside the object. It's tricky to see when it's moving because obviously night vision footage doesn't capture as many frames per second. So, but did you see this there? There it is again. Now it almost stops for a second and you can see blinking lights on the bottom of the object, right? Not at the top. There it was again. Very much looks like this is the part that was in the original footage in the beginning where you see the silvery orb underneath, right? The black part that was sitting underneath, there seems to be some light in there blinking. So that's the footage. I love it. There's a bit of stuff that I want to point out before we get into the actual analysis of it, and that is the way it moves, okay? If you look at how it moves, it doesn't do any irrational, physically impossible maneuvers, right? You see it here. It slowly stops. Then it slowly accelerates into the opposite direction. It's not that it's like stopped and, that it kind of whizzes around and moves against the laws of physics or seemingly against the laws of physics. So I think the way it moves very much, to me, looks like a drone. But looking at the object. It's circular. It doesn't look like a drone. It has the silver frame around it. And I'm not saying that you couldn't prepare a drone to look like something like that, but I'm struggling with it a little bit because it doesn't have the 4 propellers that you would very often see in like DJI drones and so on. So what is it? Now, I want to point out a few comments under this post to you guys because it's hilarious, that's why. Someone's pointing out that it's concave at the bottom with a light inside, which seems obvious to me, and he says, no, it's not. It's solid, but it can change really fast, so maybe changing in the video. I can see it puts off flashes for some reason also. I think it was scanning for something, okay? There were different types of flashes. The small ones were scanning, I think, and the whole thing flashed. And that was the plasma field, I think. And people are eating up that bait. It could be looking for materials to fuel its mothership. I feel like we're jumping through a few logical hoops here with plasma shields and motherships. I don't know, man. I don't see any evidence. For me, it's just a small blinking light. But I mean, you do you. Cold Elmston says the flashing light makes it a dead giveaway as a drone. And RangerH does not take that very well. He says, LMAO. This is the kind of stupid comment that I'm talking about. What is wrong with you all? Why is everyone claiming it's a drone just because it looks like a drone, flies like a drone, behaves like a drone? It's aliens and a plasma field supplying stuff to the mothership, obviously. And he goes on to say that the craft is a solid orb that is shape-shifting and has some plasma field around it. So, amazing critical thinking skills here from RangerH. But what could this possibly be? As I said, it doesn't look like a DJI drone to me. I don't think it's impossible. You can get DJI drones, and I've seen them before, being cladded and sitting in some kind of frames. As long as the bottom is open and the top is open, the drone itself will still work. The movement very much looks like it is a drone. And I think I found a drone that fits the brief slightly better, okay? There's a company in Boston, they're called Cleo Robotics, and they're producing a drone that you can purchase right now that is called the Dronut X1, okay? It's called the Dronut because it looks like a donut, because it doesn't have the 4 propellers sitting in that arrangement. I don't know exactly how it works, but you can see it's very maneuverable. As I said, you can purchase it. It's mostly used, as for me looking at their website, for military purposes. So, you know, if there are environments where you can't really go in as military staff, then you would send this drone in first. You can see it has sensing abilities. You know, it creates a LiDAR scan of the environment and all that. Easy to use, easy to handle. And I mean, this drone, it seems like, doesn't need the sides of it to be black or to be in the original. You could absolutely clad a drone like this, even with like something simple as aluminum foil or basic reflective paper sheets or something that you wrap around it, and you would get pretty much exactly the illusion of what you see in this footage. Now, I can't prove that that's what it is. I think this is 1,000 times more likely than aliens, okay? I don't know if it is exactly that drone. That one fit the brief closest to me. You can leave your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Do you feel this explains it? But to be honest with you, whether it's this drone or another drone, for me the dead giveaway is how it moves. The movement of this object is a 1-to-1 match of how drones move. So whether he wrapped that one, the Dronut X1, or some DJI drone, I don't know what it is, but my suspicion is the man just wants attention, so he creates this footage and he hopes that someone high up in the government will talk to him. Well, at least that's my opinion. So I'm gonna give it a small debunk, okay? Small debunk because I can't definitely say what it is, but that's my suspicion. So small debunk, come on! Okay, there it is. Okay, tiny and cute. Moving on. The next clip I want to share with you guys has been filmed in Oceanside, California on May 29th, 2024. So a very recent clip. It shows as the title of the post describes it, majestic giant blue orb floating across the sky and then changing direction. Very mysterious. And this one does have audio, so I want to share the original commentary with you guys of the guy who filmed it. Let's take a look and listen.
Hello. I see this bright object just flying over me. I do not think it's a plane. Zoom in on it. Hello. Wow, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's flying right over me. It was flying from west to east over my head right now. Hello, how are you? I love you, I love you, I love you. I hope you have a blessed evening.
Oh my god, okay. Okay, I love you, hello, how are you? Amazing. So it seems like to now change direction. Do you see that? Previously it was going upwards, if you look at the frame, right? Going north, and now it seems to be going into a different direction. So there is some mystery to it, and it clearly looks very different from all the stars around it. It's much brighter, it's blue, it really stands out. And I can understand seeing something like this, it would puzzle you. The guy who filmed it, I don't know where I read it, I went through the comments, he said that he's always meditating before he goes sky watching. So there's clearly some kind of esoteric thing going on for this man, and also man sees Blue Orb in the sky, immediately assumes it's aliens, right? Like, I love you, I love you, I love you, take me with you, please, I love you guys, oh, you're beautiful, you're so beautiful. Again, amazing critical thinking skills. I love the skepticism of this guy and that he doesn't immediately jump to conclusions. So note that this object seems to be flying at a continuous speed. Again, as always, as so often at least, it doesn't do irrational maneuvers, jumping, bouncing back and forth. Now it's changing colors a little bit. Do you see that there? And now it almost disappears. Surely this is the aliens deactivating their blue light that everyone can see, and they're just going back into camouflage mode. That's what it is. It's a 2-minute clip. Again, I'll link this clip down in the description underneath. Also note that when he talks about it changing direction, it doesn't radically change direction in like some kind of 90-degree angle. In fact, if you look at the moment, I think it's around 30 seconds, when it does change direction, I'm going to switch the audio off, I can't handle this anymore. But look at it. The second it changes direction, now it's still going upwards, right? And in a second, oh, there was a cut. Did you see that? There was a cut. And not only was there a cut, you could kind of see how just before the cut, the guy is spinning the camera around. If you look at the other stars, right? He's not holding the camera in one position. He seems to do that. And that just might be an innocent mistake, right? Because he's filming the sky. And as you're filming the sky, you're automatically potentially rotating the camera slightly, which might give you the illusion of this object changing direction. Now, the beauty of this post is that the guy is open enough to share all the details about it. So he says where it was recorded, when it was recorded, at what time. And you get this a lot. When you get all that information about a UFO sighting, people are really able to pinpoint where it was, which direction he was looking, what stars were there, and what other potential objects might have been in the sky that night, right? Because we have like flight trackers and we know pretty much everything that is human-made flying through the sky. We'll be able to track that. And that's exactly what people did. Now, this footage comes from Pilkington's brain. Okay, at least he claims ownership of it, and I'm very thankful that he's doing it. So what he did is he mapped the movement of this object, the Blue Orb, to the movement of the ISS that night. And I ask you to please look at the details of the stars around this object, okay? If you start from the beginning, do you see the 2 stars here, right? That's basically those 2 stars. And as we go through tracing this flight path and matching it up, you will see that not only those 2, but all the stars exactly align with what you see here, okay? So you have the 2 stars over here on the left, which you see down here. You have the 2 big ones over here, which you see there. So this is the proven flight path of the ISS. And obviously keep in mind, the ISS has these massive sun sails. They reflect the sun, hence they are very, very bright. And now you can see what's happening, why it is changing direction. As I said before, the guy's following it with his camera. And that's why he's kind of changing the angle of the camera. He's changing the direction he's filming, turning the camera, and that gives you the illusion that now the object is flying into a different direction when actually it is following the exact path that it did before. And again, just look at it. Every single star that you see in this mock-up of the flight path of the ISS exactly aligns with what you see here. So all we see here is the ISS. And that also explains why later on the object seems to be disappearing, right? Because probably it's like ascending behind or descending behind the Earth. So the sun doesn't hit it anymore. So no sun, no reflection. You slowly see the light dimming down, okay, and becoming almost non-visible. Now, I love this footage. I think it's great. It's fascinating, but it also shows how gullible people are, right? And they see something, and especially people, if they go down too far the esoteric route, and they think everything is, about these beings that try to free us and to communicate with us from outer space. If your head is in that mindset, then that's what you're going to see. That's going to inform your critical thinking, which, to be honest with you, the gentleman who's been filming this is pretty much non-existent. So it is the ISS, and for this one, I'm going to give it a humongous debunked. And again, let me just express my gratitude to Pilkington's brain, who went through the effort of mapping that on top of each other and basically explaining this perfectly. Like, there is no buts and ifs about this footage. This is exactly what it is. We're moving on. Now, the last incident I want to share with you guys happened in the UK, and this was also just posted a few days ago, 4 days ago to be exact. And it started with this image. Right, this, I think a lady, I don't know if it's a guy or a lady, but he posted this image saying, dude, I see these light stripes above my house. I don't live in London. I live a bit further out in the countryside. It's not that it's completely rural, but it's mysterious, right? Because look at those. They look like pillars. And the same user a few days later then shared also a video of what he or she saw that night. And you can see, look at this. These lights coming on and off, again, they look stripy, right? They almost look like a cylinder or something, sitting in the sky, opening up to the top. They come on and off. There's another one over here on the left and one there on the very left as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones that we can see. Very mysterious, right? Like what is this? Because obviously we've seen light shows before where they project like round spotlights onto the sky, onto the clouds or whatever. Like nightclubs do that a lot. We've seen similar footage in Las Vegas, for example, but they look round. They don't look elongated like we see them here. Now, when I saw this first, I thought, these must be light pillars, right? Because we've seen similar stuff, for example, in Japan, where we got images like that. Now, what this is, and it has even its own Wikipedia page, they literally call it light pillars. And those light pillars are a phenomenon that you can mostly observe close to coastal regions because fishermen use bright lights. It's a fairly new technique from what I could read. They use bright lights to attract fish at night. Now, in the clouds, you have ice crystals, okay? They're part of the clouds, and there are moments, and we looked at a video previously, I think it was in Las Vegas, where lights from the city are reflected in the sky by these ice crystals. Basically, the sky becomes a lo-fi mirror, so to say, and that would give you an effect like this of these elongated light stripes that sit in the sky. But hold on. As people were speculating the same thing in the comments, OP said on one hand that he or she doesn't live close to coastal areas, okay? So that doesn't necessarily exclude it, but it makes it less likely. Also, obviously, you would find these kinds of phenomenon in areas where it's very cold. Right, you've seen the picture we just looked at. It's all icy. That's how ice crystals form in the clouds, and that's what you get. But right now, it is June. We're going into summer. It is spring in the UK. And I don't think it gets cold enough here at the moment to get these kinds of ice crystals in the sky reflecting what's going on the ground. Also, someone went through the effort of extending the lines of these light pillars in the sky, and you can see that they seem to all be converging to one single point. Right? They're all coming down to one single point that is on the ground. Now, later on, OP did share a second video of the same phenomenon, which we can look at as well. And that looked like this. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, all right. I mean, that explains it. So I think these are literally just searchlights hitting the clouds from the bottom. And they are possibly very small searchlights and have a very focused light in the end. So that means the light protrudes kind of through the clouds, and that's how you get the elongated pillar effect and how it bleeds out to the top, as I said in the beginning, almost like a cylinder, because the light only makes it halfway through the cloud and then it gets dispersed. It's not strong enough to make it through all the way of the cloud. And you can kind of see it in this footage as well, right? These are not circular little dots flying around or like being projected on the clouds. It is stripes of light that go through the clouds because they are very, very small spots of light that then go through the clouds and give the illusion of it being a pillar or a column in the sky. There's also a great video by Mick West. It's just 1 minute, and I'll link it for you guys down in the description as well, okay, where he investigates a very, very similar phenomenon, looks at the lights and its source, and in that particular video, he's actually able to triangulate where the light came from, and to find out that there was some kind of fairground there where they were actually using big spotlights that were illuminating the sky that night. So that's what this is. It's searchlights hitting the clouds from the ground. And I confidently say this is also a big debunk, okay? Because at least it's not aliens, okay? That just makes absolutely no sense. It's just a light show, guys. So That's it for today. We looked at 3 clips. We were able to explain all of them. But guys, these are just my takes on these clips. It's my explanation. I'm not claiming to be right about everything that I say. Feel free to share your thoughts and interpretation of the videos that we looked at today down in the comments. I'm happy to debate this with you guys. Maybe you disagree. That's all good. I'm always happy to hear different opinions and takes on these clips. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more. As I said in the beginning, check out my playlist with all the debunked videos that I've done. There are a lot at this point, but there's more coming, so stay tuned to the channel. Also join the Discord community, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Bye.